Welcome. My name is Nadia Kedem and this is Non-Interpretive Skills in Radiology. Today we will continue our discussion of ethics in radiology. Specifically, we'll talk about 10 professional commitments in radiology. Now, I know what you're thinking. Ethics, isn't that just common sense? Well, yes and no. See, being an ethical radiologist is about a lot more than just doing the right thing. It's about making sure that every decision we make, from interpreting an image to writing a report, reflects our commitment to our patients, our colleagues, and the profession itself. And here's the thing, we don't just make this stuff up as we go. There's a charter which is supported by the American Board of Internal Medicine and that outlines 10 professional commitments. And let me tell you, these commitments are like the 10 commandments of being a top-notch, ethically grounded radiologist. So today, let's walk through the 10 commitments. And I promise I keep it as interesting as I can. All right, first up, professional competence. This is pretty straightforward. It means know your stuff, stay sharp, keep learning, continuous medical education. As radiologists, we're not just reading images, we're making potentially life-altering diagnoses. So if you haven't cracked open a journal or attended a CME meeting in 5 years, guess what? You're not fulfilling your professional commitment. But here's where it gets interesting. It's not just about you. It's about all of us. The profession as a whole has an obligation to ensure that every radiologist stays competent. That's why we have things like board certifications, maintenance of certification, quality audits, and professional guidelines. Because competence isn't a privilege, it's a responsibility. Number 2, let's talk about honesty with patients. And you might be thinking, I'm a radiologist, I don't even talk to patients most of the time. Fair point. But here's the thing, your report is your voice, and you talk to patients with your report. And this report has the power to either clarify or confuse. Imagine this, you find a lung nodule on a scan. You could say, indeterminate pulmonary nodule, follow up in 6 months. Or you could say, there's a small lung nodule that's most likely benign, but a repeat scan in 6 months will help confirm it's stable. See the difference? One leaves the patient in the dark, the other provides clarity and reassurance. And when it comes to medical errors, oh boy, honesty is non-negotiable. If an error was made, it needs to be communicated promptly and clearly and honestly, even when it's uncomfortable. Remember, honesty builds trust, and trust is everything in healthcare. Next up, patient confidentiality. Now, this one sounds obvious, right? Don't share patient information, period. But we're living in the age of electronic medical records, cloud-based PACS systems, and AI-powered image readers. Patient data is flying across the servers faster than ever. So it's not just about not gossiping about a patient, it's about ensuring that every bit of patient data from their scans to their lab results is protected like Fort Knox. But, and this is important, there are situations where confidentiality can be overridden, like when a patient poses a public health risk or a danger to others. In those rare cases, public safety trumps confidentiality. So yes, guard patient information, but don't ignore your duty to protect society when it's necessary. Number 4, appropriate relations with patients. All right, buckle up, because this one is crystal clear. Do not exploit your patients, ever. That means no inappropriate relationships, no personal financial gain, no using your position of power for personal advantage. Period. And I know as a radiologist our direct patient interaction is limited, but that doesn't mean we're off the hook. For example, let's say you discover a patient has an ultra-rare genetic disorder and a pharmaceutical company offers you $50,000 to write a case report promoting their new drug. It's tempting, right? But the commitment to avoid exploiting patients is rock solid. So no personal gain, no conflicts of interest, just doing what's best for the patient. Simple. Now, here's where it gets exciting for me as a quality improvement person. Improving quality of care is a great commitment. This isn't just about avoiding mistakes, it's about constantly finding ways to do things better. Better image acquisition, better report clarity, better communication with referring physicians, better everything. And it's not just a solo effort, it's a team sport. Radiologists need to work with technologists, with ordering physicians, hospital leadership to improve care across the board. And it's really, really exciting, to me at least. So if you ever thought this workflow is broken, congratulations, you now have an ethical obligation to help fix it. The next commitment is improving access to care. We live in a world where not everyone has equal access to healthcare. Geography, socioeconomic status, language barriers, you name it. There are a lot of factors that represent barriers to care. Our job as radiologists is to help break down those barriers. That could mean advocating for telemedicine services in rural communities, or pushing your hospital to offer low-cost imaging for uninsured patients, or simply being mindful of the social determinants of health when interpreting a scan. Healthcare should be a right, not a privilege, and we have a role to play in making that happen. Commitment number 7, fair distribution of resources. Resource management, this one is tough. Healthcare is expensive, imaging is expensive, and resources are limited. So here's the commitment. Avoid unnecessary tests and procedures. So if a low-risk patient doesn't really need the follow-up MRI, don't order it. If a CT scan won't change the patient's management, don't do it. Why? Because wasting resources on unnecessary imaging hurts everyone. It drives up cost and it limits access for patients who genuinely need it. It's not rationing, it's responsible resource management. Number 8, scientific knowledge. Ooh, yes, science. Radiology is built on scientific knowledge, and as physicians, we have a duty to stay up to date on research, promote evidence-based practice, and participate in research when possible. Here's an interesting angle. We need to separate science from influence. That means avoiding bias from industry sponsors or commercial pressures. Science must remain pure, period. Oh, do not forget that the very nature of science is that it is evolving. You must always question the status quo, check the evidence, and strive for updated and better evidence to continually advance our best practices. Number 9, managing conflicts of interest. Let's make this very simple. If you're getting paid for a medical device company, disclose it. If you're involved in clinical trials, disclose it. If you're recommending a treatment that you financially benefit from, disclose it. Transparency is everything. Otherwise, trust erodes fast. And I don't know how many times I already mentioned it, trust is everything in healthcare. The last commitment is professional responsibility. This one is a little bit generic and blurry, like an umbrella commitment, but it means treat your colleagues with respect, collaborate, don't compete, hold each other accountable. And if you see another radiologist providing substandard care, you have an obligation to speak up. Yes, it's uncomfortable, but it's necessary, because professionalism isn't just about being competent, it's about protecting the integrity of the profession. So in closing out, look, I know it's easy to think of ethics as abstract or theoretical, but it's not. It's practical, it's real, it's what we do every day, and it affects every single patient we serve. So the next time you read a scan, ask yourself, am I honoring my commitments? Am I doing right by my patients? Because that's what it means to be an ethical radiologist. Thank you. Bye.